If you want to weave through battle like a gunslinging specter, eliminating enemies before they can react, then welcome to the Bullet Dancer. This build is all about unmatched speed, precise gunplay, and relentless aggression, using dual pistols and an arquebus to annihilate targets before they even know you're there. In this guide, we'll break down the abilities, gear, and combat tactics that make the Bullet Dancer one of the deadliest builds in Avowed. Starting off in character creation, to maximize the Bullet Dancer's power, you'll want High Perception for increased critical hit chance, along with Might to boost your overall damage. My third favorite stat is Resolve, as it allows you to dodge enemy attacks. You may be wondering why I don't value Dexterity in a gun-based build. In my experience, the extra attack speed actually does not contribute to reloading that much faster. Additionally, with the ability Quick Switch, we don't really need to reload as we'll be switching our weapons and they'll be automatically reloading for us. The Bullet Dancer is a high mobility gunslinger who relies on precision shooting, quick repositioning, and lightning fast weapon swaps to dispatch foes. The first step to the Bullet Dancer is Tanglefoot, ensuring that enemies cannot reach you while you can easily land headshots on them. With your foes trapped, it makes it much easier for you to gun them down. Shadowing Beyond is one of the most powerful abilities in the entire game. You can heal companions, use a health potion, and kill one target basically for free when coming out of stealth. This ability is all about escaping from a bad situation and resetting the fight into your favor. Every great gunslinger knows when to slow down and take the shot. Steady aim makes your next shot far more accurate and powerful, making it perfect for finishing off an enemy with a pistol headshot or arquebus blast. Steady aim is one of the most powerful passives in the entire game. You'll basically be playing the game in slow motion for most of the time. This not only allows you to hit critical spots on the enemy, but also makes it easier for you to stay away from enemies and dodge attacks. The key to making this build feel fluid is Quick Switch. This ability lets you swap weapons instantly, meaning you can fire both pistols, switch to your arquebus, and then swap back without missing a beat. I recommend firing each pistol twice, then swapping to your arquebus, firing your arquebus twice, and then switching back, and by then, your pistols will have fully reloaded. This lets you avoid reload downtime and greatly increases your damage. Staggering Shot is another fantastic passive, allowing you to stun enemies in just a couple of power attacks. Most of the time, enemies are going to be dead within 2 or 3 of your bullets, but if they live for much longer, then they're just going to get stunned and killed shortly after. This works especially great for bosses and bears. Speaking of bears, every great gunslinger needs a partner in crime, and for the Bullet Dancer, it's a massive bear. Bear Ally gives you a durable, tanky companion that draws enemy attention, letting you line up your shots without getting overwhelmed. The Bear Ally soaks up damage so you can focus on shooting. It keeps melee enemies occupied while you deal with ranged threats and adds extra damage. Sometimes the bear finishes enemies off before you even need to. With these abilities combined, the Bullet Dancer becomes an unstoppable force, moving, shooting, and controlling the battlefield with ease. Let's break down the perfect combat flow for the Bullet Dancer, from the moment the fight begins to the last enemy hitting the ground. To start each fight, you'll want to sneak attack with your arquebus for big damage. You'll then want to swap over to your pistols and get to blasting. Immediately summon your Bear Ally, so he can taunt enemies for you and start swinging. Make sure you're always using power attacks so you can slow time, deal high critical damage, and deal high stun. After firing each pistol twice, swap back over to your arquebus. Your arquebus will now be fully reloaded again. Now fire your arquebus twice. If the enemies still aren't all dead, then swap back over to your pistols and repeat. If you're ever being assaulted by melee enemies, then just use Tanglefoot to get away from them. Additionally, you can also use Shadowing Beyond to get away from them also. Shadowing Beyond is also fantastic to go invisible and assassinate a high priority target in the enemy backline, like a priest. The Bullet Dancer deals such high damage, the fights are going to be over very quickly. A dual critical power shot from the pistols will kill most enemies in one shot. Any surviving or really tanky enemies will just take 2 more power shots, they'll become stunned, and then you'll be able to kill them. This is probably the strongest build I have tested so far on Path of the Damned. You've got the skills, the speed, and the strategy, but no gunslinger is complete without the right tools for the job. The right pistols, arquebus, and gear will maximize your damage, keep you mobile, and make sure you never run out of firepower when it matters most. The gear for this build is much more important than the skills. One of the beauties of this build is you can get the 2 best pistols in the game within the first 5 hours. Those being the Disappointer and Karoq's Pride. The Disappointer is our first pistol of choice. This pistol just grants us extra damage, which this build is entirely about killing enemies in one shot. At first, when you buy the Disappointer, it will look really bad, so make sure you go and enchant it as soon as possible. This will bring it from negative 10% attack damage to plus 10% attack damage. The next pistol we're going to use is Karoq's Pride, which deals an extra 10% bonus shock damage and when upgraded has a 25% chance to cast Crackling Bolt on kill, which is fantastic. There is a third fantastic option for a pistol to use, which is the Fair Play. You won't acquire this until much later in the game, but when you kill an enemy, it restores 10% of your maximum health and 50% of your maximum stamina, which is obviously fantastic. The offhand for this build is super important because you will be swapping to it to use it quite often. In my personal opinion, the Heaven Strike is the best arquebus in the game. Its hits deal an extra 10% bonus frost damage, but the main important thing is that its power attacks deal high frost accumulation to nearby enemies. Because this build only uses power attacks, this is a fantastic match. I also believe that frost accumulation is the best accumulation in the entire game. For armor, the choice is obvious, it's the Wavelander robes. These grant an extra 25% critical hit chance with pistols and arquebuses, which is all we use. Additionally, it's light armor, and light armor is the best armor in the game, allowing you to maintain good stamina and essence. Because this is a crit based build, our gloves, boots, and accessories are going to enhance that. The gloves of choice are the Trickster's gloves. Only a 1% extra critical hit chance doesn't really matter, but 25% critical damage is absolutely insane. Next up, we have the Counselor's shoes. These aren't really the best shoes ever, but there really isn't any shoes that perfectly synergize with this build. What these boots do provide is an extra little bit of essence, which is nice, a little bit of extra dodge distance to keep us safe, and plus 2 dexterity isn't bad for this build because it allows you to swap to your other weapon quicker. Our trinket of choice is going to be the Scout's Reach. This grants us an extra 3 perception, which just gives us more critical hit chance. The ring is the easiest choice in the history of gaming, the Ashfall's Legacy. An extra 10% attack damage and 20% critical hit damage with pistols and arquebuses. This is a match made in heaven. And lastly, we're going to go with a Ring of Pain Amplification for the final piece of equipment. An extra 15% critical damage is fantastic when you're critical hitting on nearly every shot. For this video, I would like to mention one more thing for equipment, which is the Eyes of the Obscured Totem. This has absolute insane synergy with this build because of one of the passives on it, Fickle Winds. With every critical hit, it deals high random accumulation. Because this build crits with nearly every shot, you will be dealing insane accumulation for frost, fire, bleeding, and all other accumulations. This greatly increases this build's damage versus high health enemies that stay in the fight way too long, so you're able to build up high accumulation on them. With pistols in hand and an arquebus on your back, the Bullet Dancer is the ultimate gunslinging warrior. Fast, deadly, and always one step ahead. By combining Shadowing Beyond for stealth, Quick Switch for rapid power, and Staggering Shot for control, this build lets you dominate any fight with style. What do you think of the Bullet Dancer? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this guide, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.